Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished delegates, Excellencies. I'm very honored this morning to chair the opening session of the World Energy Forum International High-Level Conference on Energy with the major theme of sustainable energy with sustainable development for all. During this opening session, I am joined on my right side by Professor Dr. Waheed Ho, the chairman of the World Energy Forum. On my left side, by His Excellency Dr. Kande Yumkela, who is the United Nations, the General Director of the United Nations Industrial Development Program. Meanwhile, Dr. Kande Yumkela is the Chairman of the Secretary General's Advisory Group on Energy and Climate Change, as well as he is chairing the UN Energy. On my left side again, we are joined by Dr. Kamal. Dr. Kamal, of course, as you all know, as a distinguished diplomat, is the chairman of the UN Ambassadors Club. So with this introduction, I'd like to go straight to the first point of the agenda and invite Dr. Waheed Ho, the chairman of the World Energy Forum, to please us with his opening remarks. Professor Dr. Waheed Ho.
Thank you, Your Excellency, Ambassador Waheedullah. Ladies and gentlemen, Excellencies, distinguished delegates, good morning. It is a great pleasure for me to welcome you all to this high-level international conference on energy at the United Nations. Today, World Energy Forum has brought together leaders from government, private sector, academia, and civil society from both developing and industrialized nations to actively engage in a constructive dialogue and exchange on the vital issue of a future world with sustainable energy for all nations and peoples. Such a grand objective could only be achieved by developing some effective ways and means to provide access to affordable, adequate, appropriate, and reliable energy on a global scale. As we all appreciate, access to sustainable energy is a prerequisite for sustainable development. In this context, today's high-level conference will examine where we are now and what needs to be done for the future. Ladies and gentlemen, Excellencies, the most critical challenge for this conference today is to seek some innovative ways and means to effectively increase access to affordable and modern energy services globally. While doing this, we must ensure that the energy services provided do not cause adverse environmental and socio-economic impacts. This critical challenge is a great privilege for us, and yet an enormous responsibility, affecting lives and future of hundreds of millions of people on our planet. This will certainly make a worldwide difference, especially those who are energy impoverished and striving to overcome extreme poverty. I believe that a long-term energy solution must include all available energy resources, with due consideration to the economic, social, and environmental implications that they may represent. Ultimately, we need not only more technological innovation and advancement, but also vision, courage, and political will to bring about change and greater equality in access to energy resources. I am very impressed with the magnitude, the level, and the quality of the participants in this high-level international conference at the United Nations. And I'm looking forward to great discussions. Thank you.
I thank Professor Dr. Harold O., the chairman of the World Energy Forum, for his opening remarks. Now, I invite Ambassador Ahmad Kamal, President of Ambassadors Clubs at the United Nations and former President of United Nations Economic and Social Council. Ambassador Kamal.
Mr. President, Ambassador Waheedullah, Chairman O, Director General Yumkila, distinguished delegates. It is an honor for me to welcome you all here at the United Nations. Your presence and your deliberations here are being watched with great interest and followed with great anticipation in the United Nations and outside. You are here on a matter of cardinal importance to all the peoples of the world, developed and developing alike. On the one hand, there is the unsatisfied hunger in the vast majority of the world as for energy as a major determinant of development in a world that is beset by underdevelopment and inequality and poverty and deprivation. Energy is the key to their future. On the other hand, there is the overconsumption that is so much a part of the economic model on which we base our thinking and policy. An overconsumption that is responsible in no uncertain part for the extraordinary changes in global weather patterns and their devastating consequences. So energy is the problem for them in other parts of the world. So energy is at the same time a problem and a solution. Sitting astride this unusual duality is the shadow of an overall shortage in energy resources, a shortfall which the sun and the wind and the tides cannot possibly meet in any foreseeable future. Until we reach some magic breakthrough, which we cannot anticipate at all at present, it leads then to the inevitability of nuclear energy with all the threats of dual-use technology which lies behind nuclear energy. For all these reasons, your presence here is most timely. We all look forward to the results of your deliberations as you walk us through the difficulties of finding workable solutions to these most basic problems of our time. I thank you and wish you good luck. Thank you.
I thank His Excellency Ambassador Ahmad Kamal, President of Ambassadors Clubs at the United Nations and former President of United Nations Economic and Social Council, for his UN welcoming remarks. Now, may I invite Dr. Konde Yumkali, President of UN Energy and Director General of the United Nations Industrial Development Organization, UNIDO, to address the keynote of this conference to your attention.